Despite being on a restricted diet during her hospital stay, Mia brought a large amount of snacks into her room and was devouring them. "If you keep this up, it could cost you your life." When I reprimanded her, Mia shouted back, "If you had been making healthy meals for me, I wouldn't be sick. Stop taking it out on me." Then she spat at me. Daddy's parasite is acting all high and mighty. She twisted her mouth and glared at me with eyes full of anger. "Get a divorce and disappear somewhere." Got it. When I got back to the car, I saw that Tom had called, so I reported my exchange with Mia, only to be yelled at. "Mia is sick. You should be more supportive." I hung up without responding. I moved to a hotel to put some distance between myself and the two of them, but after seeing a certain picture from Anna, I changed my mind. "Mia, I'll grant your wish for a divorce. But before that, I'm gonna expose the true face of your beloved daddy." "Look forward to it." I'm Katie, a 45-year-old housewife. I married my colleague, Tom, 5 years ago. I was so engrossed in my work that I found myself in my late 30s. I had given up on the chance of getting married, but 7 years ago, Tom was transferred to my department and pursued me relentlessly. After 2 years of dating, we became a couple. Tom had divorced his ex-wife due to her infidelity and had a daughter named Mia, who was in elementary school at the time. My parents and friends were worried, but when I met Mia during our engagement, she was so innocent and adorable that I was thrilled at the thought of having a child as soon as we got married. Even though we weren't related by blood, I decided to raise her with care. However, that resolve was quickly shaken. At the time of our marriage, Mia was in 6th grade and loved games, music, and eating. She would lounge on the living room sofa, immersed in the world of games and music, constantly putting something in her mouth. "If you eat too many snacks, you won't be able to eat dinner." This is something parents often say to their kids, but it was useless with Mia. Despite eating 3 meals a day, she would gorge on snacks all the time. Even for a growing child, eating 2 pancakes and 2 bags of potato chips before dinner, and then having a large serving of fried chicken and 2 bowls of rice for dinner, was clearly excessive. Since she wasn't in any sports clubs, she naturally had a plump body. "Mia, I think you're eating too much. It's not good for your health. You tend to leave vegetables and only eat greasy or meaty dishes." When I couldn't stand it anymore and cautioned her, she would wrinkle her face in annoyance. "Shut up. You're not my real mom, so just leave me alone." "But..." Mia cut me off. "You know, your cooking is okay, but you should fix your nagging. Otherwise, Dad might dump you." Her cheeky tone irritated me, so I talked to Tom, but he just laughed it off. "Come on, she's just going through a rebellious phase. Cut her some slack." "But Mia eats quite a lot, actually, she eats a lot, doesn't she?" I patiently pleaded. "I think it's putting a strain on her body. She gets angry when there's no food in the house, so I stock up on snacks, but she eats them all up quickly. She doesn't like low-calorie dried fruits or rice cakes. I had a huge appetite when I was a kid too. It calmed down when I was around 30, so don't worry about it." Tom laughed, looking down at his slim figure. But he had been in the basketball club until college. The amount of exercise was completely different, so I thought it was wrong to compare, but Tom, who doted on Mia, wouldn't listen. Eventually, Mia entered middle school and started hanging out with bad friends. She began engaging in problematic behaviors, like going to band concerts and not coming home until late at night, even before tests. She and her friends started getting piercings and her fashion became increasingly flashy. "You're still in middle school. Piercing your nose and lips at home is crazy." I scolded Mia harshly. "If you're under 18, you need parental consent even at a hospital. There's a risk of infection." "Katie, you're such a worrywart." Tom spoke in a relaxed tone, standing next to a sulking Mia. "It's no big deal." Yeah. You might be too scared to pierce yourself, but my friends and I are fine with it." Seeing Mia puffing out her chest, I felt like pulling my hair out. That's not the point. Of course, you don't get modern fashion because you're an old lady. But Daddy understands, right? Mia looked to Tom for agreement, and he gave her a forced smile. Of course, Mia. You look cute no matter what you do. See, Daddy gets it. Tom's doting expression made me want to throw up my hands and give up. Even as a high school student, Mia neglected her studies, focusing instead on games and music. As expected, she panicked just before the entrance exams. She barely managed to get into the lowest-ranked school in the state, but soon after enrolling, she frequently fell ill. She complained of fatigue, exhaustion, stomachaches, nausea, and low-grade fevers. A visit to the local clinic resulted in a diagnosis of school-related stress. At first, I thought so too, but as the symptoms persisted, I urged Mia to go to a general hospital. What? I hate needles and tests because I'm so delicate. Tom sided with Mia, who was whining. Forcing her to go is harsh. Let's watch for a bit longer. But what if it's something serious? Tom and I are at work during the day. What if she collapses? Mia nonchalantly responded. Then you should quit your job. Yeah, if Katie takes care of Mia, I can work without worry. She can take Mia to the hospital if needed. I was momentarily at a loss for words. But Mia is your daughter, Tom. Don't be so cold. She's your daughter too, blood or not. Exactly. Besides, Dad makes more money than you, so no one will miss you at work. I felt disheartened because I found my work fulfilling, but it was hard to refuse when it was for my daughter. I reluctantly resigned from my job. Mia then began to treat me like a servant. It started as soon as she got home from school. Oh no, I forgot to buy pudding. Go to the cake shop by the station. Massage my legs. They're so tired. Oh, and my shoulders and back too. What's this? Why stew? I'm in the mood for sweet and sour pork. Throw this out and make sweet and sour pork. Her mood was even worse when she wasn't feeling well. Claiming she couldn't sleep because she was wide awake, she would call me to her room in the middle of the night to talk about trivial things. That girl is such a teacher's pet, it's so annoying. Hey! Are you listening? Don't fall asleep. She would even demand impossible things like curing her headaches. Tom, can't you do something about Mia? Exhausted from lack of sleep and emotional strain, I pleaded with Tom. I get that she wants someone to lean on when she's sick, but this is too much. I can't take it anymore. Tom then furrowed his brow and sighed. You're Mia's mother now, so you need to handle it. Kids' tantrums are cute, aren't they? Then why don't you take over on weekends? Tom shrugged helplessly. I work to support you too. Can't you understand that? You should at least be able to listen to our daughter's requests with a smile. Then can't you come home a little earlier? I desperately argued. You've been working overtime a lot recently, and there are many weekends and overnight business trips. Can't you spend a bit more time with Mia? No way. I'm busy. Mia is your responsibility. Tom pushed the responsibility of our daughter onto me, showing no interest in being involved himself. My distrust grew day by day. Even Tom, who usually took things lightly, started to worry as Mia's condition persisted for over a year. A coworker mentioned that it might be a liver problem. We should get her properly checked at the hospital. All right. Despite all my urging, Tom had always refused, but a single comment from a coworker made him change his mind instantly. I was exasperated, but I accompanied the two of them. After a full examination, Mia was diagnosed with cirrhosis. She has jaundice and ascites. It's at grade B right now. It's not immediately life-threatening, but it's quite severe. Why did you let it go on for so long? I'm sorry. Both Tom and Mia, usually carefree, now hung their heads in shame. It seems the cirrhosis developed from hepatitis C. Do you have any idea how this might have happened? For example, Did you pierce your own ears and share the equipment without proper sterilization? Oh. Mia gasped. See, I told you so. Realizing the foolishness of her actions, Mia's face contorted as she bit her lip. Will she need surgery? Tom asked anxiously, and the doctor replied calmly. First, she needs to be hospitalized for nutritional and exercise guidance. However, if this continues, it could progress to liver cancer. A liver transplant would be the best option once her condition stabilizes. Understood. After seeing Mia off to her hospital room with a nurse, Tom and I went home to prepare for her stay. As we drove, Tom said, "Let's register for a living donor liver transplant. Waiting for a donor might make Mia's condition worse." Yes, that's true. Then, I'm counting on you, Katie. I stared at Tom's profile. You're gonna register too, right? No way. I can't handle pain. I couldn't believe my ears. They say donors can have complications like bowel obstruction or duodenal ulcers. It'd be a problem if that happened to me since I'm the breadwinner. That's true, but is it okay for me to be the donor? I wanted to ask. Don't worry. It's not usually life-threatening. The liver regenerates even after part of it is removed, so it's no big deal. Tom's cheerful smile left me feeling unsettled, but I couldn't just sit back and watch Mia's condition worsen. After undergoing compatibility tests and being a match, I registered as a donor. Now, whenever Mia's condition improved, I was ready to donate part of my liver. Honestly, I was terrified, but as Mia's mother, even without a blood connection, I wanted to support her in any way I could. One day, after some time had passed, I received a call from the hospital. Mia's condition had stabilized, and they wanted to schedule the liver transplant surgery, coordinating with the operating room and the doctors. Since Mia disliked me, she might refuse the transplant if she knew I was the donor. So, I asked the doctor to keep it a secret. Soon, the surgery date was set, and I went to the hospital for tests. On my way back, I stopped by Mia's room and was stunned. Despite being on a restricted diet, she had brought a large amount of snacks from the hospital store and was devouring them. I lost my temper and scolded her harshly. Do you understand your condition? If you keep this up, it could be life-threatening. You need to take your health more seriously. Mia, spitting crumbs, blamed me. It's your fault in the first place. What? If you had made healthier meals and snacks over the past 5 years, I wouldn't have gotten sick. Take responsibility. I felt like collapsing at her unreasonable accusation. What are you talking about? You were the one who always asked for high-calorie meals and snacks. Stop taking it out on me. When I countered firmly, Mia sneered. You're always bossing me around, it's so annoying. She said in a low voice, distorting her face. I don't need you anymore. I don't even want to see you. Just a parasite acting all high and mighty. Get a divorce and get lost. Her hateful words pierced my heart like sharp arrows. The anger quickly dissipated, leaving me cold and detached. Got it, I said and left the room. When I got back to the car, I saw that Tom had called, so I reported my exchange with Mia, only to be yelled at furiously. What? Are you stupid? Mia is sick. You should be more supportive. But what if her condition worsens because of stress? I felt miserable. Why do I have to put up with this? I hung up without responding and drove away from the parking lot. Back home, I packed my suitcase with essentials and left the house. I didn't want to see those two for a while, so I decided to stay at a hotel. The next day, I met my friend Anna at a cafe and told her about Tom and Mia. She made a grimace. Actually, she started to say, but then stopped. After fiddling with her phone for a while, she showed me a picture. I involuntarily gasped. You should look into this properly. You're right, thanks. I replied in a strained voice and had Anna send the picture to my phone. As I looked at it, a surge of intense anger welled up inside me, making my whole body heat up. Mia, I'll grant your wish for a divorce. But before that, I'm gonna expose the true face of your beloved daddy. Look forward to it. Right after parting ways with Anna, I went to a real estate agency and immediately signed a contract for a weekly rental apartment. I arranged for a moving company and transferred all my belongings there. I also found a full-time job and started working right away. I had been ignoring calls and messages from Tom, but when I checked my phone 3 days later after getting home, I saw I had 50 missed calls. Reluctantly, I called back, and he immediately started yelling. "Where the hell are you? Why aren't you coming home? And what's with sending the divorce papers out of the blue? That's none of your business." I responded coldly to Tom's rapid-fire questions, which made him even angrier. "Don't mess with me. You're Mia's mother, aren't you?" The ferocious shouting made me instinctively pull the phone away from my ear. "And you refuse to donate your liver for Mia's transplant. Get to the hospital and re-register now." "No. I'm not donating to her anymore," I said firmly, and I heard Tom sigh over the phone. Being stubborn over a minor argument is so childish. It's embarrassing at your age. Say whatever you want. Don't you care about Mia at all? Mia and I are strangers. Besides, I've never thought of her as cute since we got married. I seized the opportunity to speak my mind. "Did you file the divorce papers?" "I can't do that. If we get divorced, you'll no longer be a relative, and we won't be able to proceed with the donor process." Tom sounded irritated, and I couldn't help but sigh. "Why are you fixated on me? You, as her biological father, should be the one to donate." Tom dismissed my reasonable suggestion with annoyance. "I told you. I can't handle pain. And there are risks of complications, right?" "Yes, it seems so." "Then I'm out. Besides, Mia's condition isn't immediately life-threatening. If you're unwilling, we'll wait until another donor appears." "Fine." I realized he cared more about himself than his daughter. I was utterly disillusioned by Tom's insistence. "I'll visit Mia's room next week. We need to talk." With that, I ended the call. A week later, as promised, I went to Mia's hospital room. As soon as she saw me, she started yelling. "You stupid old hag! Don't go off on your own. Go talk to the doctor and re-register as a donor." I was disheartened, thinking, is this really how you ask someone for a favor? Both father and daughter lacked basic manners. "What? No way. You were the one who told me you didn't need me and to get lost." That was just a figure of speech. Mia stammered, trying to make excuses. "I don't want you two to separate because of me." "Right, Dad? You don't want a divorce, Katie, do you?" She usually called me an old hag or old lady, but now she was using my name. Mia looked up at Tom with pleading eyes, and he nodded vigorously. "Of course not. I want us to continue living happily as a family." With a forced smile on his face, Tom nodded. I handed him the photos and the investigation report I had taken out of my bag. "Oh really? But it seems Mia has another happy family." Mia's face paled as she glanced at the photos. "Mia, you've been seeing them behind my back." Tom's voice was filled with anger, and Mia stammered a response. Tom slammed the photos down on the table in the hospital room. The photos showed a woman with a plump figure similar to Mia's, a tall man in a suit, and Mia. The scene of them enjoying a meal at a restaurant was likely taken covertly from a nearby table. Another photo showed the three of them walking down a main street, holding high-end shopping bags with joyful expressions. "How did you know I was meeting my mom and her new husband? Hiring a detective is so low." Mia snapped at me, and I explained. When I was cleaning Mia's room, I noticed she had a lot of high-end brand bags. I wondered how she could afford them without having a job. "Mind your own business." "I can't do that. I am your mother, after all. I smiled at Mia, who glared at me. When you came home from dinner, you sometimes smelled like perfume. I knew you were lying about having dinner with friends. I never noticed it. Tom tilted his head in confusion, while Mia pouted. You're usually home after I've showered. And on weekends, you come back after midnight. Oh, that's right. Tom scratched his head and laughed awkwardly. I found it suspicious, so I hired a detective. I'm relieved you weren't hanging out with bad friends. Mind your own business. Dad, I'm sorry. I couldn't say no when Mom insisted. Mia, trying to appease Tom, spoke in a sweet, flattering voice. Tom forced a smile and said, Yeah, I understand. But the smile vanished when I played the audio recording. Mom, Dad is such a cheapskate. He works at a big company, but my allowance is only $200 a month. Can you believe that? It's gone as soon as I buy one outfit. I hate living poor. Poor Mia. For now, just endure it and marry a rich businessman like your stepdad. A woman with a voice similar to Mia's spoke, and a man's voice agreed. Come live with us, Mia. I'll buy you anything you want. But if I move, I won't be able to see my friends. Besides, leaving Dad alone would be sad, right? He has no friends at all. Ah, you're so sweet for not wanting to abandon your dad. As the three of them laughed loudly, Tom's face turned beet red. Mia turned pale and shrank on the bed. Mia, this is really bad. After a moment of silence, Tom finally spoke. You know the reason for the divorce was because your mom cheated with that guy, right? And yet you were meeting them secretly? Though his tone was calm, Tom's eyes were filled with anger, making Mia visibly uneasy. But, Mom's new husband is a good guy. He buys me everything I want and takes me to fancy restaurants. Honestly, I think Mom made the right choice remarrying him. In her panic, Mia kept digging herself deeper. Even when I ask Dad for something, he complains about taking me to a sushi place. He works at a big company, so why don't we have money? It's not like he's into gambling. Tom's face contorted with anger. That's none of your business. Besides, you got cirrhosis because you've been eating lavish meals behind my back every month. From now on, you're forbidden to meet them. You don't know the law, do you? Even if you're divorced, children have the right to see their parents. Mia retorted defiantly. I thought marrying this woman would mean a higher salary and a luxurious life. But all I get is a measly allowance, no dining out, and a nagging old lady. There's no point in staying at home. So that's what you were thinking when you were sweet-talking me during our engagement. One mystery solved, I felt a sense of clarity. I let out a faint smile, while next to me, Tom, with a smug look on his face, spoke to Mia. Listen, I work hard, sweating and stressing to support you. Do you think I enjoy overtime and business trips? But Dad, I'm saving money for your future. Isn't that more important than luxury now? I stared intently at Tom's profile as he tried to reason with Mia. What's up? He asked, puzzled, and I smiled. The other day, I talked to your boss. Remember, I used to work in the same department as you, so we know each other? Yeah. What about it? Even Mia listened with interest. I asked if there was any way to reduce your overtime, weekend work, and business trips because you're hardly ever home. He was confused. Tom's eyes started to dart around nervously. He knew what was coming next. Your boss said this, our department is quiet right now. There's hardly any overtime or weekend work, and certainly no business trips. We leave on time every day. Isn't that strange? With that, I tapped my phone screen to display some images. I also placed several photos and the investigation report from my bag next to the documents related to Mia. So, you're a regular at a girls' bar in the entertainment district? Going there 4 times a week after work. No wonder you're busy and come home so late. Mia's eyes widened as she snatched the report from my hand. As she read through it, her expression turned into one of fury. Her hands shaking as she held the document, Mia read aloud in a low voice. On weekends, he spends the night at the apartment he bought for a 20-year-old waitress. Sometimes he even escorts her to work. Every 2 or 3 months, they go on hot spa trips together. I'm shocked. It's like you're living together. Do you have any sense that your wife and daughter are waiting for you at home? It's none of your business how I spend my salary. Tom grumbled with a sullen face. She's saving for college, so I have to go there often and give her more tips. Supporting a hard-working girl is the right thing to do, just like volunteering. I laughed at Tom's brazen attitude. She lives in the same apartment complex as Anna. People have been gossiping about them shopping together at the local supermarket or getting cozy in the lobby. Oh. They think we're a handsome couple? Don't be stupid. No. I mocked Tom with a derisive laugh. They think it's pathetic for an old man to be fawning over a girl young enough to be his daughter. You're a laughingstock. It's not just anger I feel, it's pure astonishment. At this, Tom's eyes narrowed sharply. Don't call it an affair. I truly love her. That's disgusting. Mia contorted her face in disgust and spat out. Are you serious, Dad? Falling for a girl my age? Something's wrong with you. Shut up. Let me love whoever I want. Tom retorted with a defiant expression. Seeing Mia and me bristling with anger, Tom spoke passionately. She said she want to marry me after she graduates. Be happy, Mia. You'll have a young and beautiful stepmom. Tom grinned, and Mia sighed deeply, looking distressed. Dad, wake up. She's just using you for your money. I don't want a stepmom 3 years older than me. That's a joke. It doesn't matter. Even if you don't approve, we'll get married. Don't be ridiculous. If you're gonna spend money on another woman, increase my allowance. Is she more important than me? Tom calmly replied to Mia's angry outburst. No, Mia, you're more important. But with a healthy liver, you'll be fine on your own. Mia shot a sharp look at me. That's right. I don't care if you divorce, but give me your liver first. She got off the bed, approached me, and grabbed my arm with surprising strength for a sick person, hurling insults at me. The liver regenerates even after cutting it, right? So stop being stingy and give it to me. You're my mother legally, so do your duty. At least be useful in a time like this, you useless jerk. In a time like this? For the past 5 years, I've done my best for you and your dad. And now you're resorting to threats like this. I said in exasperation, and Tom sneered. Are you scared of the surgery? Katie, you're a coward and a hypocrite. How pathetic. As I said before, why don't you do it yourself then? I snapped back, and Mia defended Tom. Dad wasn't a match, so he couldn't. Right? Yeah, that's right. Sorry, Mia. Tom clasped his hands together in an apologetic gesture. Feeling exasperated, I pressed the play button on the recording app. I told you. I can't handle pain. And there are risks of complications, right? Yes, it seems so. Then I'm out. Besides, Mia's condition isn't immediately life-threatening. If you're unwilling, we'll wait until another donor appears. Mia looked puzzled at the sound that played. Huh? It's your dad's honest feelings. He never even did the compatibility test. If you don't believe me, ask the doctor. Awkwardly, Mia turned her head to look at Tom. Tom was sweating profusely, his mouth opening and closing as he struggled to come up with an excuse. In the end, he loves himself more than his own daughter. No, that's not. Mia's eyes quickly filled with tears. That's awful. I trusted only you, Dad. As Mia's voice quivered, Tom made an even more insensitive comment. But I like thinner girls. And Mia, you keep eating like your mom and getting fatter. Besides, you got sick because of your own actions." With his lips pursed and scratching his cheek, Tom showed zero fatherly concern. "Hey, how about asking your mom? She's related by blood, so it should be possible." Tom clapped his hands as if he had come up with a brilliant idea, making Mia frown. "Dad, did you forget? Mom has diabetes and high blood pressure, so it's impossible from the start." Oh, right. Despite being about his ex-wife, it seemed he had completely forgotten. Tom and Mia exchanged looks for a moment before finally sitting on the floor and got down on their knees in front of me. "Please, Katie. Donate your liver to Mia. I absolutely refuse to do it. You're the only one left. As your daughter, I'm begging you, do it willingly. If you refuse, I'll tell everyone in the hospital that your new wife mistreated me." "Enough!" I yelled over their heads. "How many times do I have to say it? I will never register as a donor for you again. I've been treated like a servant, insulted, and now you want my liver too? No way. Are you still holding a grudge? You're such a jerk." I was fed up. I crouched down, grabbed a bag of snacks from under the bed. I headed to the hallway, pushing away Mia's hands as she tried to snatch it from me. Then, I called out to the nurse's station. "Mia is eating chips again." Before I finished, a nurse rushed over and angrily confronted Mia. "Miss Miller, how many times do I have to tell you to stop? At this rate, even if we find a donor, the transplant won't be possible." "I'm sorry." "And you, sir. Please pay more attention and act like a father for once." Watching Mia and Tom with their heads down, I left the room with a smile. Despite being forbidden by the doctor, Mia had been secretly eating snacks and drinking juices instead of sticking to the hospital food. Her test results were so bad that her treatment was prolonged, and she had to take a leave of absence from school. Tom was repeatedly urged by the nurse to undergo compatibility testing but adamantly refused, which enraged Mia. "You'll spend money and love on your affair partner but not on me? Forget it. I won't rely on you anymore." No means no. Just wait patiently until a donor shows up. Is that what a parent should say? Unbelievable. They argued loudly in the hospital room every day, completely ruining their relationship. Later, Tom signed and returned the divorce papers I sent him. I submitted them to the courthouse immediately, and the divorce was finalized. The $20,000 in alimony for his affair with the waitress from the girls' bar was deposited into my account in one lump sum, and I felt relieved. However, the problems began after that. Even after the divorce, Tom kept persistently clinging to me. Since he knew where I worked, he would wait for me at the nearest station after work and try to get back together. "Hey, I need you, Katie. Let's start over. Mia's medical bills are piling up, and after paying you alimony, my savings are gone. You spent your savings on your affair partner, didn't you? Why don't you borrow from her?" I replied coldly. "She dumped me when she found out I was married. Mia won't talk to me either. I'm so lonely." "You brought this on yourself. If you keep stalking me, I'll call the police." After I yelled at him, Tom finally stopped showing up. Afterward, his affair with the 20-year-old came to light at his workplace, and his reputation plummeted. Now, he's living every day at work as if he's walking on pins and needles. When Mia told her mother about being hospitalized, she boasted about all the wrongs she had done to me and complained bitterly about my canceling the donor registration. In response, her mother, thoroughly exasperated, sent a cold reply. "I never thought you would be someone who can't even appreciate others. I'm disappointed in you. I once thought about living together again, but let's forget it. Be good to your dad." Reading that, Mia burst into tears and took her frustrations out on the nurses, causing trouble. She's now known as the biggest troublemaker in the ward. Since I canceled my donor registration, no new donor has come forward. Mia's past habits of binge eating and drinking worsened her condition. Although she eventually started following a diet, it was too late. The doctors now warn her that she could develop liver cancer at any moment. She spends her days in the hospital, crying and living in fear. Over the past 5 years, I've come to a profound realization. No matter how much you try, some people will never appreciate your efforts. Despite the hardships, I also had good experiences. A colleague who supported me during my tough times became someone special, and after dating, we got remarried. At our home party in place of a wedding, Anna and my parents met my new husband, appreciated his kind and sincere nature, and were visibly relieved. I am determined to build a happy family with this wonderful man this